Welcome to episode 4 of our NWA Flashback series. No Lissy Almeida today. She's too busy living the high life. Instead, you've got JJ and myself. JJ, we've had a bit of an accident. We've had a bit of a, we've missed a week. I'll take responsibility for that. I apologise for a child that's been born in the past couple of weeks. But JJ, have you been keeping it with the wrestling? Never mind 80s, 90s. Have you been keeping it with the wrestling WWE, AEW?
Yes, well, congratulations, Jack Milner, D-A-D. Came a few weeks too early, but...
that was good.
came a few weeks earlier than we expected, and but yeah, all is good. Little George is here, and you've been a little bit busy trying to take care of him and take care of the missus and get things sorted there. So welcome back. Sorry that we've been away for a little bit. Kind of messed up the schedule, haven't we? But yeah, it's all good. There's still plenty of awesome 80s and 90s stuff to get stuck into. In terms of current wrestling, I did watch Crown Jewel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's such a palatable time for this. And, for us here in Europe, instead of, I'm not going to stay up until 2 a.m. to watch a WWE pay-per-view, but when I'm sitting in my living room at 7 p.m. and I can switch it on, there was some all right stuff on there. I quite enjoyed the opener with the Hell in a Cell match. For a match format that's died a death in recent years, I thought it was quite a good version of it. The main event was good. When you've got Brock and Roman in their current iterations with Paul Heyman in the middle of it, you can't really go wrong. I mean, I've not watched SmackDown or Raw for months and months and months. Probably not watched it at all this year. And that probably is the first pay-per-view I've watched since Mania. I didn't even watch SummerSlam, just saw little clips. So yeah, watched that, and obviously been keeping up with all the AEW stuff. I thought this week's Dynamite was fantastic. I'm quite happy that it's back to its usual Wednesday night slot, because when it's like Friday and Saturday, my weekends are pretty busy. You'll learn, kids, keep your weekends busy.
Do you think they definitely seem to, when they know it's a Wednesday one, or when they go to Saturday, they definitely seem to tone back like angles and storylines? Like, we'll wait until we're back to Wednesday, but it's just kind of doing a bit of filler in the interim.
A little bit, yeah, but also you've got to think that they are obviously now like ramping up to full gear, so things are going to start accelerating anyway. I mean, there were some huge, insane matches. They obviously started the tournaments on the weekend, so yeah, still things are still moving along. But I thought the main event this week. Have you watched it yet?
I've watched 3 Dynamites, but I've been quite busy, so I got behind. I watched last week's Dynamite last night, and I watched the first half, and then I watched Dynamite from yesterday today. I thought it was brilliant.
The main event, I thought, you see it, and it's almost like a bit of a comedy match, right? And it's like an 8-man tag, which in a lot of ways is almost like a kind of house show main event. It doesn't really feel like it should be a main event for like a Dynamite a few weeks away from a massive pay-per-view. But in my view, the most advanced 2 storylines. You had the Hangman Page thing, where last time Dark Order and Hangman Page couldn't beat the Elite. They lost him his title shot, and now something's different and they can beat the Elite. And then you also had a storyline in the future that I think is going to happen
Cole
with
Omega,
where Omega was going to tag in Cole, and then he turned and tagged in one of the Bucks instead, and then later on he did tag him in. They're going to do the double team, and Cole's like, no, you go and deal with them in the corner. Omega turns to the corner, there's no one there. He turns back, and the Elite are kissing Adam Cole, and he's just there like, and I just thought it was such a clever way that they're building what's happening, and they're also building to the future as well. And you also had the comedy spots. I've been watching Being the Elite, so I loved when Johnny Hungy did the Adam Cole Budge.
So over as well. God,
he's been watching Being the Elite, him, I mean, the whole Dark Order, but Johnny Hungy especially so. But I think part of that is from his hilarious comedy on Being the Elite. If you keep in touch with that, just like adds a little extra element to the show. There's a few more things that you pick up.
The wrestling is very much secondary to angles and storyline. You need heat. MJF is a heat-seeking missile. When he mentioned last week, when he mentioned Lex Luger, you're going to be in a wheelchair like Lex Luger. God, I was watching it now. I was like,
that's another one where they're directly building what they're building to at Full Gear, and then in the background building to the dissension between MJF and Wardlow, which is going to come in the future. You know, whenever that happens, and I think we might have to wait. It's kind of been building on and off for 6, 9, maybe even longer months, but that will happen down the line, and it will be amazing when it does. That moment when Wardlow turns on MJF and just absolutely destroys him, it's going to be like Batista on Triple H. You know, you've instantly made a brand new babyface right there. You just got to decide when to pull the trigger.
Sorry, the comparison is what we're going to watch now is Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling from 1985, November the 2nd, 85. It's the run-up to Starrcade. It is so scary, the parallels between the current AW product and 1980s NWA Crockett Georgia Wrestling, where they keep building angles and building it, and you see people come out and cut promos. But if you haven't seen it, by the way, Bryan Danielson cuts 2 of the best promos of his life in the past week. One on Eddie Kingston last week, and I must be showed at the weekend. And then the one last night is phenomenal. Yeah, absolutely really phenomenal. Where has he been for 10 years?
I don't know. Somewhere W something. I don't know. Anyway,
he's just really short. That guy doesn't get chicks. He's a vegan. What a set of wankers. God, watch that back and think who's in charge of their creative. However, we digress. We will see some equally brilliant promos on the Mid-Atlantic episode today. We've got previews to Starrcade 85, but you've also got Dusty Rhodes recovering from his ankle being broken by the Horsemen. Arn and Tully. Magnum, who's going to face Tully Blanchard in a I Quit steel cage match. There's a lot going on here. And if you haven't, or you're not that familiar with 80s NWA, Crockett, Jim Crockett Promotions, we will hopefully fill in the blanks along the way. So, JJ, if you want to let us know where we are in terms of finding it on the network.
So it's Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling 99436. Like you said, November 2nd, 1985.
Originally shown, a syndicated show for the Carolinas and the Crockett area in terms of, we're going back to the old territories. Ric Flair and the Anderson just broke Dusty's leg. They're going to have their massive match at Starrcade, The Gathering, which is over 2 destinations, 2 locations. They're going to have a show at the Greensboro Coliseum, where Starrcade's been the last 2 years, and the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. So we're going to click play in 3, 2, 1. Boom. And you should have a sit down with Dusty and the Nature Boy. The cheering. He's that, what do you call it? Like the sneering chicken shit heel strokes, completely breaks people promo wise. I was watching one from, I want to say, I was going ahead, say that 86 November the 9th episode of World Championship Wrestling, and he is just slaughtering Dusty Rhodes. I made the match. It's my match.
So Dusty's currently sitting at home nursing his broken leg.
Dusty Rhodes has been put on hard time, baby. American Dream. We've got the Russians in, Nikita Koloff, who looks incredible here. Ivan Koloff and Barry Darso. If you look at the guy on the right, JJ, Barry Darso. Could you tell me what are the gimmicks he played?
What the gimmick is?
Well, he's not obviously a Russian. His name's Barry Darso.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant on the other side in the black trunks.
You've got Nikita there. Ivan Koloff. But the guy who's just gone out to the out now, Barry Darso, that's the guy who would play Smash from Demolition.
Okay.
And he'd also play the Repo Man. Jack of all trades.
What a career. Can do it all.
I'm pretty sure he played like a Russian in Mid-South under a different name as well. But you never hear him go to promo because they once tried him to do a Russian accent and it was like he was talking Indian. Like, yeah, we can't do that ever again. You're exposing the business, Daddy.
Like Lana at the end of her run in WWE, just like kind of gave up on the fact that she was supposed to.
All right. So I saw that on Twitter. Do you think she was trying to be British or trying to be Australian?
Oh, the Queen of the Ring thing. Zelina Vega. Yeah, I haven't seen it. Couldn't tell you. I heard that she just sort of started slipping into a British accent.
And I have to say, I think I'm the most deserving in here. What?
I mean, Spain have a royal family, right? She could have just done a Spanish accent there.
Yeah.
Would have made more sense.
It made a lot more sense. I have a theory. Speaking of Zelina, I have a theory. Do you think the way they are trying to build this Andrade and Cody little feud, do you think that this is a way to bring Flair in?
It did cross my mind.
Andrade, his father-in-law, is Ric Flair, and he's feuding against Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, with Arn.
With Arn there. Yeah. And Flair and Arn haven't really spoken about.
It did cross my mind that he might come in this week, but because they had the lights out moment, and obviously it was Malachi Black, but wouldn't have surprised me if Ric Flair just showed up out of the blue.
What did you make of Cody's promo last night? I'm in two minds. I can't.
No, I enjoyed it at the moment. Well, when I was watching it, I was enjoying it. I kind of don't really know where it's going, what he's doing, but I enjoyed it. Kept me entertained. Yeah, I think like you, I'm probably in a bit of two minds.
He had, when he said like, you don't know how difficult it was. I go with big brother who's better than me at wrestling than I ever. A dad, I'm never going to be as good as him.
My wife's hotter than me.
My wife's hotter. I'm punching this baby. God, what have I done to deserve this? And then he went to when I hooked the arms, I could have done this move. I am not turning. Like, that's a weird thing to say. That's so weird.
He threatened to do the pedigree last week, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what he alluded to. That side. That was the easy way out. I could go down this route, and I could be the guy who abused the space. I could be like
still obsessed with Triple H. Yeah, just move on.
Yeah, I was watching going. I listened to the Dynamite review with Sidgwick and Wilborn last week, and I thought they got it spot on when they just said just the vibe of Cody beating Black was just really weird. I watched it last night. I was like, I'd seen, obviously, you can't avoid spoilers in the wrestling business 2021. Really strange decision to beat Malachi Black and have Cody go over. And he was getting booed throughout.
Yeah, but what I did like was that Malachi Black had some promo time this week and just had some brilliant lines that kind of was like, you think it's about pinfalls and wins and losses. It's not. I turned the fans against you. I split your family apart. I turned Arn against you. Doesn't matter that you think that you've won, you haven't won, and the house always wins.
I get that. I don't know. I'm just stuck in two minds over it. I just think he has to turn heel. I think the problem is, given the fan base he's dealing with, this isn't John Cena in 2006. I think he will. I think he has to eventually. I don't think it's an audience where you can say, I'm not, you can boo me all you want, I'm not turning. Yeah. You've got creative control, but you don't have the book up, pal. Calm down.
Cody's smart enough to understand what the best thing to do is. So
I don't know whether, we're building up to this time now. In 88, Dusty turned the Road Warriors heel.
Right.
If you have a look on the Mainly Wrestling YouTube channel, posted the clip last week of, and we've just seen the Russians defeat the pair of jobbers, and they're preparing for their match at Starrcade against the Rock and Roll Express, where I think the Rock and Roll win the belts, but hey ho. Spoilers, yeah. But so Dusty turned the Road Warriors heel in '88, and nobody bought it at all. And he even tried to use himself as a sacrificial lamb, and had them attack him.
On Dusty Road coming in.
We have got a promo here with Dusty Rhodes. Let's track it, because Dusty's there with Dr. Joseph Shoswani of North Carolina.
Let's come here.
Dream ready for Starrcade. Do you think it's weird? Like nowadays, JJ, when people are coming back or people have been injured, we don't hear from them.
So it used to be a thing, right? I mean, I remember back in WWE when a big star was out, then you'd start having vignettes and stuff like that when they were on their way back. But it was very rare that you'd ever see them in their home strapped up or anything like that. Why was he saying November 3rd? I mean, we're on November 2nd, so that's
this
tomorrow.
is the 28th of October. What's the edition here? Sorry, this is November the 2nd. So this would be a taped show, and he's obviously Sundays would always be a big day at the Omni, so presumably he will be back making his return. I mean, the weird thing is, this is November the 2nd. I don't know why that went into an Irish voice, but
spending too much time with the missus.
So yeah, this is obviously. I think he has a match with. He never got into anything high profile. I think he had a match at Starrcade. I can't find it, but yeah, he wasn't around there for long. But this was obviously a bit of an enhancement match. Just get yourself airtime, get yourself over. But those power moves are going to cut it when you. Oh, karate shot! Wow, he flew. Tommy Young sold that like a dream as well. The referee sold that more than me. And this is the original Master Lock Challenge.
Yeah, who needs Chris Masters? Friend of the show.
Like a good baby face, he waves the crowd and shakes the hand with the referee. Man, I think it was so much simpler back in the day. When he came out, I thought, is that Dr. Death? But yeah, that ring apron is exactly what they have now. And if you haven't watched it, check NWA Power on the Fight Network. I loved it. Before the pandemic hit, I would watch that every week.
Yeah, it was same as AEW. I wasn't really watching that stuff, and I was kind of watching it on ITV when I got around to it. But NWA was just busy and just didn't have the time. And then pandemic hit, and I was like, all right, I guess I can start getting into this stuff now since I got a lot of time sitting at home.
On the same token, what do you make of ROH? Basically, it looks like shutting their doors.
Well, they said they're going to be coming back in April, right? But I assume that they won't have many talents left that are going to wait around.
Everyone who's under contract is going to be...
Daniel Bryan versus John Gresham will be a thing of beauty.
Who is John Gresham?
John Gresham, he was the, I think they called it Pure. I think it was Pure Wrestling Champion or something like that.
Okay, that's the belt Nigel made famous when I was watching it.
Yeah, he's dating Jordan Grace from TNA. Don't know if you know her.
She's the one that's thick, right?
Yeah, she calls herself Big Mama Pump.
Yeah, she's fine.
Yeah.
She's not Jamie Hayter. Apparently, Jamie Hayter's seen what's the name of the Steiner boy? I just know he was
Braun Breaker. Is that it?
Apparently, she's seen him. Lucky bastard. Yeah. So John Gresham.
Yeah, just a ridiculous professional wrestler.
Oh really? Oh right. Without sounding really horrible, why is he in Ring of Honor?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the top guys in Ring of Honor, aren't necessarily people that you would think would become stars in other promotions, like people that have failed in WWE and AEW didn't want things like that.
I mean, if you saw the Briscoes the Briscoes in like 2006, 2007, in 2007, the Briscoes had one of the best tag feuds of all time with Kevin Steen and El Generico, Sami Zayn. Yeah. Which culminated in something called Ladder War, a pay-per-view called Man Up, which was just phenomenal. Kevin Owens is another guy that's probably going to be on the move. Surely that AEW roster can't get any bigger.
Can. Just got to let some people go.
Jay Lethal's that'll be on the move. Is it Bandido's champion there as well?
Jay Lethal might go back to TNA.
Yeah, it's weird. How is Ring of Honor going out?
WWE.
How is Ring of Honor going out of business and to Impact is approaching 20 years in 6 months' time?
Impact, do they have a TV deal in the US or?
I think they got Jarrett was very good when he kind of took the mantle. 5 or 6, he got such good international licensing and syndication. Like I would watch Impact on Bravo. It used to be on Bravo, right? I think 9 o'clock.
Bravo, and then it used to be on the Wrestling Channel as well. I don't know if you ever got that one. Then that's how I came across it. I found the Wrestling Channel that Impact's all right. I recognize that guy.
Yeah, I think they were showing the Destination X3 with Joe Daniels and AJ, which was like, wow. Somebody brought up on like 80s WWF wrestling. You see these guys just going bananas.
They have a phenomenal roster. And it was the only thing apart from WWE that you could really get.
What the hell is it? What are we watching now, JJ?
I think that's Eugene in the ring. And some guy in a red leotard.
I'm pretty sure that's Black Bart with the glove. And he's getting the claw on.
It's JJ.
Look, this is JJ Dillon before Horseman days, look.
Is he bleeding? We've clearly missed what they set up to here. Too busy talking about TNA.
It's so weird. So the preview in Ron Bass versus Black Bart in the Texas Bull Rope match at Starrcade, hence why JJ's there with the Bull Rope.
Yeah.
But before JJ became Tully's manager around late December '85. Before that, he was with Buddy Landell. He was like the fake Nature Boy. He was with Black Bart. He bounced around with a lot of average mid-carders. And when he got with Tully and then he got the Horseman collected, it was a massive break for him.
How far are we from the Horseman becoming like a thing? That starts in 1986 properly? That
starts at late 85. Arn coins the term in so they were basically like the top heels in the company anyway. Arn and Ole, we've got the boogeyman here, Jimmy Valiant, who so over, and I can't believe why he just seemed Jesus Christ. It looks like he should be back. Look at those tights. So Tully was the US champion, Flair was the world champion, Arn and Ole were the national tag team champions at the time. I think on an edition of Mid-Atlantic 2 weeks ago, the Andersons team with Tully in the main event in the 6-man. Rick was the cousin of Arn and Ole, and then in this main event today, we have Arn and Tully tagging together. So because they were like the top heels in the company, Arn made one throwaway comment on like a syndicated promo, mentioned, poor Tommy Young. He said like, we are like, when you mess with the 4 horsemen of the National Red Alliance, you need to have your A again. And like, Tony Giovanni says to him, you need to use that. That's a good line. And it was mentioned then a week later on TV, and then it kind of just stuck.
Wow.
Like most good things, it just have a natural and like, that's got legs, let's go with it.
Yeah. Can see why this guy would get over with the unique look, the
Winning Kids,
outlandish outfit, and
Boogie, Willie. If you listen to Kobe, he's still doing like meet and greets. Now he's 79, Jimmy Valiant. Handsome Jimmy back in his day. He was huge in Memphis. I think around late 80s he had loads. He had some feuds with like Bill Dundee and Jerry Lawler. But handsome Jimmy Valiant before he became the boogeyman when he came to the Carolinas, he drew huge money with Lawler. There you go. During the late 80s, 70s, Valiant was a central player in Memphis wrestling scene. Yada. So this is obviously a guy who knows he's kind of in the twilight of his career. So I need to freshen my gimmick up, get a new look, go from the handsome Jimmy to the boogeyman and become a lot more... Like, realistically, I'm guessing he's not taking many bumps. I don't think I've seen him hit the floor.
The thing is, like, if you go out on a Saturday night and this guy comes out, you've never seen him before. He's someone that you're going to remember, right? A lot of these guys, it's black trunks, dark hair, probably got a moustache. They're kind of generic until they do something that will make you remember them. But this guy, as soon as he walks out, dancing in the yellow and black, the bright hair, the tan, you just don't forget it. And then you come back in a few months, I remember that guy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you look at like what we've seen so far in terms of like Tully and Magnum and Jimmy Valiant, and this isn't the thumb in the ear trick. Oh no, that was the thumb to the throat. That was like manga. Only one count, blimey. But yeah, everyone's kind of had their own unique look. even going from Dusty to Flair to Valiant, even Billy Jack Haynes, who's again something generic. The Russians in their red singlet. Everyone, at least it differentiates from it. I can understand if you were to watch, say, 205 Live on, even NXT's obviously tried to go the opposite way. If you watch like one of their products, everyone's around 6 foot, good shape, similar haircut, bit of stubble on them generally. And here come the Midnight and Jim Cornette, a very young looking Jim Cornette here.
Poor Jimmy Valiant.
And Bobby's going to town. Is he going to be setting up for the leg drop? Loverboy Dennis and beautiful Bobby. Oh, that's big. Oh, no. Who is that?
I thought it might have been the Fabulous Moolah. Just seeing nothing behind. I don't know who that is.
Let's track it. Tolly was so good. Tolly was so good.
What were you saying during that? I can never hear you during those promos.
I said, Arn, that was his first year in big territory. He'd done Mid-South. He was there as Marty Lundy.
This is his
he then went
year.
to...
This is his first year?
No, this was his first year on a big territory. So he debuted in 82. He was in Mid-South for 6 months. He went to Tennessee, not Central States, the fullest territory in Tennessee. It was Continental Wrestling. He was there for about a year. He's then in Florida for a year. So he's been in the business 2.5, 3 years at this point.
Right. And
if you look at the difference between Arn and Tully in those promos, Arn didn't look at the camera.
Yeah.
Tully, direct. You're not getting a shot at this belt. On your way. Go. The intensity wasn't, and what was still pretty much a work in progress.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell the difference that Tully's a few years ahead of him, but Arn is still such a captivating character.
And like a prodigy. At that, Arn was just, I think Arn had just turned 27 there.
Right.
Which, again, in terms of wrestling age, especially in that day when you're wrestling 350 days a year or 350 matches a year, that's a lot of catching up. When Tully was the son of a promoter, Joe Blanchard ran Southwest Championship Wrestling. Again, Texas is that big. I think there was 4 different territories there. So Tully'd been around. He'd been in the Carolinas since 83, 84. And he was just so polished. Like, Tully gets forgotten because of how he ended it. Leaving the WWF, he failed the drugs test. He was supposed to come back with Arn in late 89. Didn't. That was in Done With Wrestling, and then he found God and set up a ministry.
Right.
But God, you watch any Tully promo for 85, 67, and he's just money. And I just see the MJF comparisons. You wonder if he's getting a little bit of a few tricks of the trade from him behind the scenes, because the parallels are scary. And here we've got the Rock and Roll, who I think they've been primed for. The Rock and Roll have just come in from Mid-South, where them and the Midnight did phenomenal business. I think, and likewise, the Rock and Roll came in first here, the Midnight came in, say, 6 weeks, 2 months later. And the Rock and Roll are going to go for the tag titles on Wyndham, spoiler alert, against the Russians at Starrcade.
Okay. And
then the Midnight, I think, win their match, and then that sets up them as number 1 contender. And then in 86, if you get Jim Cornette's got a great book on, like the Midnight Express scrapbook. They sold out everywhere for the best part of 10 months. A bit like how the WWF would have house show loops. On the day of recording here, I think it was Ultimate Warrior against, I want to say, Andre the Giant for the title, and you've also got Hulk Hogan and so-and-so somewhere else. Whenever the house show loop in 86 was mainly Flair and Dusty and the Rock and Roll of the Midnight. And perhaps a prior thing to Dusty was booking, the Rock and Roll of Midnight did pretty much double wherever they went, because it was that they built it so well on TV.
Yeah.
And Cornette was just I didn't want to see Cornette get beat up.
Yeah, heat magnet for sure.
And I'm going to say, if you look at anything around this time, we've watched them old World Championship Wrestling episodes from say 86, 87. Cornette's given 2 minutes and he just talks non-stop.
Yeah.
Puts over his boys, insults everyone else, and then the Midnight would then have like a 2-3 minute squash match.
The other thing you've got as well with the Expressers, both of them, is that they obviously worked together in other territories before, so you've already got that chemistry. Then you take that to the national stage and people are into it.
They are really going for the hard sell with this Magnum Tully I Quit match, aren't they? And it's Magnum's option.
Yeah. There's so many other ways that they could have booked it. So I can understand where Charlotte's coming from, not wanting to be stuck in that situation.
Charlotte wanted to lose clean to Bianca.
Yeah, I read that.
Can you imagine
that was
in
a
this
better
day and age,
solution.
like, was this been so? Someone said to Ric Flair, actually, Rick, we don't want you to lose clean. Can you just swap the belt with? If you go back, even in like 93, 94, WCW had the big gold belt and they had the WCW World Championship because Flair had taken a big gold belt. Can you just swap titles? Give that one up? No. I'm stupid. Yeah, sorry, fair point. Let's move on.
Not going to do it. The fact that Charlotte would rather lose clean, put over a future star than having to swap a belt, it shows to me that she gets it more than the people making the decisions in the back.
She can't not get it. She's bred for the job, isn't she? Literally horse racing terms, because she's been bred to be a champion. Wow.
Yeah. It doesn't always get you there.
It doesn't, no. Second generation.
My brother, you know.
I'll wait for Liz to bring this up, but I was watching I found some old clips of The Rock doing interviews around February, March 97 with Bret Hart. And Bret really put him over, and Rock saying he really helped me out. And Bret said he's got a great future. He's a nice boy. I know his dad, Rocky. I know he's wrestled for his dad at Peter Maivia. And goes, wow. And then in the background, DX were trying to bury him at every opportunity. You wonder why The Rock hates Triple H and Shawn Michaels. You're a Bret guy or you're a Shawn guy? Lacey, you know which side to pick.
We can badmouth Shawn. She'll never watch this far into it.
Yeah, she didn't like. I find the picture of Shawn looking like Kevin Webster, which she's got no idea who Kevin Webster even is.
She knows that you're being mean to her boy.
Her boy, yeah. Tully's gonna put the brakes on here. Oh, cheap shot. Referee, come on. I did like JR. Tully's selling was always so good. He dropped to one leg and started staggering. When he had a big feud with Ronnie Garvin in 86, God, he'd do like that. Drops to one leg. So smooth. And Wasteland gets him down. Yeah, the JR yesterday. And I did like the 8-man tag. It's a little much when they're in the ring all the time. And you're saying, come on, the referee's lost control here. I mean, you've got a 5 count. There's 3 of them in there. What's going on here? Yeah. But even Punk last week was there going, oh my God, I've got to stay at the backstage area. Everyone who gets interviewed gets attacked.
The thing with the JR thing was he did the same thing in the Young Bucks versus Lucha Brothers, which was in the cage, which was obviously not a tag out match. It was a tornado match. So, yeah, got to understand what match you're watching, JR. But yeah, I get it. I mean, it's an 8-man tag. It's a bit of a schmoz. It's not for a title.
I mean, look how they're dressed. I don't think it's supposed to be taken that seriously.
Yeah.
And Tully, the victors say, and the world television champion, Tully Blanchard, the United States heavyweight champion. Both of them primed for big matches at Starrcade. Tully would face Magnum in that pretty famous I Quit match, which would be in the Omni, I think. And then you had, it's in Greensboro, sorry. And then you'd have Alan and Oli against Wahoo McDaniel and Billy Jack Haynes, who we saw earlier, for the national title. National titles were kind of like these secondary tag titles. It would later become the United States tag titles, like pretty much made famous by the Midnight Express.
Right. So that's the end of it. So what are we?
God, yeah, they had a bloodbath in the first match in Atlanta. Now you're placing on the card, lads. And yeah, it's just more teasers towards Starrcade, but it's all good stuff, and it should go well. What do you make of the show today?
It was good. I mean, you can tell that they're slowly building up to Starrcade. Enjoyed to see Jim Cornette and the Express come in, starting a little bit of a hill run there, and obviously, like you said, we'll see them get to that Express v Express feud, but that's a little way away. That's into 1986, isn't it?
You mentioned the teasers, JJ. So we had the woman come in and say Jimmy Valiant at midnight. They didn't say who it was.
No, and they were saying
who was this woman
off the street, just walked off the street, and
same with the Magnum and Tully. You've got Magnum saying, "I want this match. We're not going to allow it. Come back next week." And
I think that's brilliant. I thought that was brilliant. Both, I think Tully and Magnum, it seems to me like more of a bigger story than the Flair storyline at the minute. Like that's the one they're sort of keeping that on the back burner a little bit, I guess, until Dusty is back, right? And this is going November 9th. Will we see him there?
And Magnum and Tully had been, Magnum and Dusty were kind of best mates. They've been tagging for the last 6 months to a year.
Right.
So that's how you get Magnum and Dusty, who then feud with the Horsemen, because Ric Flair's cousins were down and Ole. It's so, again, the comparison between current AEW products, for me, is staggering, just because you have lots of cross paths and allegiances, and you've helped me out before, you've saved me, etc., etc. It's just, once you build up relationships and friendships and rivalries, you can create so many more different match opportunities, I suppose.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we're excited to see what happens next week, the November 9th edition. And what's that? And then we've got one more, and then Starrcade, or two more, and then Starrcade.
November 9th edition, and then the November 16th edition 23rd. Is the Hard Times promo.
Yeah.
By Dusty. I'm pretty sure they skip one. Yeah, so they don't have anything for the 23rd.
Okay.
Because Starrcade was out on the 28th of November, so that could be good. That could be a fun watch along, especially for the Magnum Tully I Quit match.
What, Starrcade? Yeah, I'm down for that. Be my first ever Starrcade.
Do we need to do something with Lissy for Thanksgiving? I feel like there should be some kind of like new mainly wrestling tradition.
Every Thanksgiving we just tear Lissy away from her family and make her sit with us for 3 hours to talk about Starrcade.
I mean, we can do it slightly beforehand, and then release it on Thanksgiving, which might be a little bit more realistic.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, let's be honest, I'm probably going to be free on Thanksgiving. I don't have plans.
Me either.
I'm probably going to be in Malaga.
I'll be here, hoping that the babies are sleeping. So.
Fingers crossed. And fingers crossed you'll be all joining us next week. We'll be back for the 9th of November, 1985 edition of Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling. From JJ, I'm JJ. Lissy will be back with us next week. The star of the show. Until then, thanks all for watching.